wrestles all.
So, Mike, what do you think we should do today? Should we just hop right into our guest, or should...
I think so. He's already waiting on hold.
Yeah. We don't want to wait him too long. I mean, you can kiss at this time slot. You can kiss goodbye all of our fucking East Coast.
I know. JD's not getting any bookings in CZW from this.
Hopefully not, because nobody's listening this week. But anyway, on the line we have and it's funny. Before I click over to him, I met this guy I think it was 2008. I met him on Xbox. And he hit me up. I guess he saw the UVU stuff, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm trying to get into the business, man. I want to do death matches."
Yeah.
And I automatically whenever somebody tells me that, I go into MIW mode. Remember all the guys who are like, "Oh, I want to swing fucking light times." I'm like, "No, you don't. No, you don't." But anyway, let's get him online. On line one from Vendetta Pro Wrestling, we have JD Horror.
What's up, you guys?
What's up,
man?
So anyway, JD, like I was just telling everybody, I met you on Xbox. Was SmackDown 09, right?
Oh yeah, or no, it was before.
Was it 08?
It was like internet, YouTube, or some shit before I even started training.
Oh,
I've known this guy for longer than I've been wrestling.
We've known each other on the internet. I've never even met you.
Yeah,
That's funny. So anyway, he was telling me I've never seen for any person who comes to me and says, "Oh, I want to, do death matches." None of them ever take the proper channels in becoming a wrestler first. That's the one thing. People want to be a deathmatch guy, but nobody wants to learn how to work. This guy on the phone, and I remember that's one thing I told him. I said, "Hey, go to a find a school." And he's like, "I found Billy Blade." And I'm like, at the time I didn't know who that was. I'm like, "Dude, go with it. Learn to bump. Do all that shit first." And this guy, how many straight matches did you have before you started doing death matches?
Many matches. Well, I started out training for about a year and a half before I had my first match, and I never was a backyard wrestler before I started training.
That was my next question. Never once, not even in fucking middle school.
Not even once. I started training before that when I was a kid. I was a state champion at Greco-Roman wrestling and second in state freestyle, like at legit shoot wrestling,
Yeah.
Then I started training, and I decided, I didn't start training because of Hulk Hogan. I started training because of Nick Gage or Necro Butcher or Jun Kasai,
Yeah.
That's the shit I wanted to do, So, but I knew, backyard wrestling is a bad name, and that death matches, in general, some people look down on death matches, So, in order to excel at death matches, I knew I had to, like you said, go through the proper channels and get trained and learn how to put a match together, psychology, how to bump, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I started doing, and it took me about a year and a half before I got my first match, and maybe, my first death match was in January of 2012, so about a year ago.
That was the one with Bo, right?
Yeah, that was the one with Bo.
Yeah. Now let me ask you. You seem like a very intelligent person. Now the stigma with death matches. This is the thing. The thing about death matches and why nobody. I mean, there's a very small population of people that do respect death matches, but most people don't like it because they think, oh, okay, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough to be a real wrestler. Instead, you just use it as a crutch. And most guys who start off doing that. Like I said, they use it as a crutch. But you, on the other hand, like I said, are completely against the fucking grain of all normal deathmatch guys. You actually did what you were supposed to do. I think you're the only guy who did what he was supposed to do, and that's go get legit
my
first.
My first deathmatch, like you said, was against Bo Cooper.
Yeah.
And that was the Vendetta Pro Match of the Year for 2012. My first death match was the Match of the Year for the top drawing company in California. So we draw over 1,000 fans. I mean, on our Santa Maria shows. That show's in Lompoc. It doesn't draw as well as Santa Maria, but there was about 400 fans that were rabid,
Yeah.
And, the name on the card was Gangrel, who I respect a lot, who I've trained with. He's done seminars with us. He's had a hand in training my trainer, and been his tag team partner, and he's a Class A talent, to learn from. And he was the name on the card, and then I sold probably 60, 70 tickets because it was in my hometown. I used to be from Lompoc, born and raised, and I told all my friends, I'm going to wrestle so I can do death matches, Oh yeah, sure you are. You know, because I was in a band before everyone knew me from that. They didn't. Oh yeah, you're gonna wrestle? That's stupid. You know, Hulk Hogan. You're gonna wear some tights and jump around and flip. I'm like, no, fuck that. You know, I'm not all about Hurricane Ranas and stuff like that. I got respect for all forms of wrestling, but you know, doing death matches and like strong style and hitting each other hard and stuff like that. That's what I was all about. And that match right there is my first death match. We fucking tore it up. You know, Vendetta Pro Match of the Year, first time. So.
Yeah, and shit, what was I gonna say? Fucking my mind went blank for a second. What did you now? When I was saying when you were training, because I know you were. I don't know how adamant were you about wanting to take that path into hardcore. Like, what did Billy say when you told him, "Hey, man, I want a fucking barbed wire match"?
You know, Billy Blade, you know, he's not all about that hardcore.
Yeah,
so, you know,
we touched on it. We touched on it very briefly on the when he was on, because he was, you know, we had business with the Gary and John and all that. Yeah. But yeah, how did he take to that?
Friends. I look at Billy like my brother, you know, and I'll put Billy over to anyone. I know he's controversial or whatever. People want to talk shit about him, like Gary or whoever you're talking about, you know.
Yeah.
I don't really care, you know. Billy, if it wasn't for Billy, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, you know. So like I'll put Billy over till I die, you know.
So was he real supportive of it from the get-go, or?
No, not at all.
No.
Never in my ring will you do light tubes. Never in my ring will you do this and that. You know what I mean? I still haven't done light tubes in a Vendetta Pro ring. You know, I'm still pushing for that.
Light tubes are kind of a touchy subject when it comes to most venues.
Yeah,
and that's really the even you know, Combat Zone now, they can't. And honestly, I like that. I like that light tubes should be saved for once a year. You know, once or twice a year for a big tournament or something big.
Well, like you were asking about, you know, he did not support hardcore at first, but I trained with Billy Blade for about 3 months. Then we lost our gym. For about 6 months, I went every single show, set up the ring, took down the ring, passed out flyers, tried to sell tickets, just busted my ass, you know, like, you know, for about 6 months after training without the benefit of training, you know. And I worked from the ground up. You know, I was in a band for a lot of years, so I had sound equipment. I would do sound and provide a PA system, all that kind of stuff, do a lot of production, try to help out any way I could. And he eventually started getting turned on to the idea of, hey, Billy, if you let me do this, I can sell some tickets, you know. And that's how I got my foot in the door as far as hardcore wrestling, because he believed in me, you know. He knew I could do it. He knew I could draw as hardcore, even without the benefit of knowing that I could do it, you know. I could have cried like a little girl, you know, the first time I hit with a barbed wire bat in the face, you know. You never know. You don't know what somebody's going to do in that situation. But I took it like a champ, and that's what got me to do the things I do now, so.
So you're much like myself, like rather than, you know, you didn't just hop into it because you wanted to, like you said, you didn't know how it was going to feel when you got hit with that barbed wire bat the first time.
Yeah,
and
me, I could do it because deathmatch is not something that comes from within training. It's from your heart, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you either know you can do it or not before you do it the first time. So people who do it half-ass are never going to get over, you know.
Yeah.
You have to go fucking balls out to the wall, you know.
But I mean, the inspiration to want to get into death matches is pretty much you enjoy watching other people do it. So why, you know, if you feel capable of doing it yourself, why not? You know,
yeah, you know,
is that the real main motivation?
I watched wrestling when I was a little kid, and that's what made me want to. Like my favorite wrestler when I was a little kid was Owen Hart.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and then I started doing freestyle wrestling, and then I didn't like wrestling anymore because it wasn't cool. Because all the other kids, you know, like didn't like wrestling because that's fake, and what we do is real and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And
dude,
eventually,
fucking pro wrestling school was way harder than high school wrestling. I made it like I got kicked out. Like I didn't even get to go to a meet. Like I wrestled in middle school for like not even that long, and it was cool. But like once I got into the high school, like all right, this is the real fucking competition. Me and my dickhead friends, of course, were doing backyard wrestling. And the coach when the coach would leave, we would, you know, have to put everything away, and we'd always be dicking around and practicing and shit. We're out there doing fucking vertical suplexes and fucking pile drivers and shit. And he like forgot his bag, and he came back, and I had this motherfucker posted for a pile driver, and that was it. We were done. We were gone. Me and Lucius Banks.
Well, like for me, like to be honest with you, like I did all that wrestling, you know. I had a kid. I started like watching wrestling again, just randomly. You know, I had just, I don't know, like I had a midlife crisis or whatever, you know. I didn't start training till I was, 24 or 23, you know. I didn't start like green like at 16. I was already a man, you know. I already had a career, a family, all this stuff.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 28.
20. Okay, I'm 28. That's a midlife crisis. Okay, that's a midlife crisis if it's 1864.
Anyways, like that's what I felt. I felt like I was gonna die, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, whoa, I got a girl pregnant. You know, I'm gonna get married, I have a kid, all this stuff. You know, I felt different. You know, started watching the Royal Rumble. You know, then all of a sudden I found out the reason I became a wrestler, and I'll put this over to the death, is that Tournament of Death 8. I started training a couple months after Tournament of Death 8.
That was the scariest. Dude, that was the first Tournament of Death that I was at home and concerned. Mike, did you? I know you've met Nick Gage or no?
No, I've never met him.
No, I mean, like, but you feel like you've been watching him for 10 years.
Right.
You almost feel like you know him.
Yep.
And then
you feel like he's your best friend the first time you see him wrestle. He's so out there, you know.
That was the scariest fucking thing I've ever seen. Other than, no, second to that was, remember when Cool Breeze, you might have already left for APW, Mike, but we were doing shows at Zero's house back in MIW.
Yeah, I was already gone by then.
Yeah, you were already gone. Cool Breeze went to go do a 450 off a ladder, which he was still learning the 450 at the time. It wasn't like, it wasn't like he could do it off the top of a fucking cage, no problem.
That's probably not a good idea to do it off a ladder when you don't know how to do it.
So he's beta testing. He's beta testing it, and he goes to jump off the ladder, but he jumps off the ladder sideways, not even a single rotation, just straight down to the ground, fucking top of his head. Like I literally turned around and took a deep breath and said, "Oh my God, I have to call 911 because my friend just fucking killed himself." Yeah. And I turned around and it took him about 10 minutes, but he got up. Yeah. He got up and finished his match. But man, that fucking like half a second before he gave the thumbs up, my neck's not broken and my it's not cracked open. I'm good. I can keep going. But
yeah,
no.
So I saw Nick Gage. You know, the opener of that tournament is Nick Gage and Deranged. You know, the fire gimmick. You know.
Not my favorite match of that tournament.
No, not at all. But that's the opener, you know. That's the opener. And then you progress on, and I saw Drake, who's one of my best friends now in the business, you know. And then I saw, TJ and see DJ Hyde take the fucking brick to the head. It's awesome, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's what made me want to be a wrestler. I said, "Fuck, man,
I can hit motherfuckers in the face with a brick."
After that. Like I watched WWE before that, you know, and I watched a little bit of Indies, but I saw that, you know, I knew about like Cactus Jack, ECW, FMW, and really, if you watch a lot of those matches, if you try to compare them to like, Drake versus Sami Callihan or something like that, it's not gonna, there's you can't even watch it again after you see that. So I saw CZW, and that's why I wanted to start training, you know.
I remember when someone first told me, like, hey, you can take this broken piece of fluorescent tube and cut this guy's face open, and he won't be mad at you. When I first heard that, I'm like, fuck, sign me the fuck up for fucking hardcore, man. Yeah. Ask Mike.
Hey, how much time do we have on this radio show?
We got until, we're closing this bitch down. What time's the bar close, Mike?
About midnight's last call.
About midnight, yeah. We're closing it down.
Okay, I just want to put over my upcoming shows. I just remind me.
Oh, yeah, shoot. Before we forget, let's promote. Let's get into, as DJ would say, I'm in promoter mode now. So, yeah, give us some dates.
I'm in promoter mode always because I promoted punk shows all up and down California.
Yeah, but promoter mode for a punk show is just like, puking on someone and fucking bumming a cigarette and say, hey, I got a show, and it's written on a fucking napkin with on it.
It's not, bro. It's not. It's a lot of work. It's just as much work as promoting wrestling.
It's not like that. It's not like that anymore?
No. Well, no, even if you want to say that, but like, if you want to draw just like wrestling, you could be like that in wrestling, and you're not going to draw. But draw at a punk concert, you got to be a real worker. You got to really like put it over and put out flyers and get street team, all that kind of stuff, just like wrestling. So it's the same.
And that's one thing we got to this point needs to get across to a lot of the feds in California that flyering fucking works. Shit's not all digital now. Motherfuckers who see if you live in the San Gabriel Valley, even in the fucking restroom at the AM/PM, there's an EWF flyer in there. Every single where you go.
Next show, okay. The next Vendetta Pro show, we're doing a show with Dragon Gate USA. Mm-hmm. And for that show, we've hung up posters. We have 10,000 flyers coming in, street team, all of our students, all of our people are going to get down on that and pass out flyers for several days to get all those flyers out up and down the Central Coast. And that's the reason why Vendetta Pro draws, is because of Billy Blade, his hard work, the hard work of those that are close to him, myself. We have different people that are working just as hard as him just to put this over. Maybe not as hard as him, but, And then Gabe, Dragon Gate, they're going to do their best, too, as well. But
now, is this one going to be on iPay-per-view? Have they decided that yet?
I heard it's going to be iPay-per-view, but I heard it's not going to be live. I heard it's going to be like the next day.
It's a tape delay.
It's supposed to be, but they kind of dropped the ball on that.
So you got to watch. You got to watch out with the tape delays, though, because when you put it up after, that's how the shit gets on fucking the XWT, man.
So I don't care. I'm not going to be based on pay-per-view sales,
I don't give a fuck. As long as the gate's fucking good, I'm happy.
Yeah. So like before I know that you guys are closing down at like 11. It's like 10:30 or whatever. I got Gold Rush Pro Wrestling in Pacifica on the 19th. JD Horror, Sledge, my tag team partner at Sledge VPW on Twitter, my bro, and Jekyll's the Jester versus AJ Kirsch and two other guys. I don't know who they are yet, but
I'm gonna guess real quick. Is Jekyll's a juggalo?
Jekyll's the jumping juggalo jerk off jester. This is my old roommate.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm not really sure he's a juggalo. He's like
he was when I lived with him.
A lot.
Is he the guy with the mask who was at MXPW?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He wears face paint and a little funky hat.
It's not cool to be a juggalo anymore.
I've never worked him, but Sledge told me he is very stiff and solid and dangerous. Not dangerous in the fact that he doesn't know how to
dangerous
work,
in a good way.
In the fact that he's a badass.
Oh, he's dangerous behind the wheel, too. He's crashed several cars.
Like, we work snug, like me and Sledge and our, if you've seen Billy Blade chop someone, that's my trainer, we hit hard, we work snug, so.
I've had one chop from Billy Blade, and I'll always remember it, because it was there for a fucking week. I had his freaking fingerprints on my back. It was a back chop, too, so there's even there's no callus back there for chops.
Dude, I worked Billy Blade in the student show, got chopped, and then I worked Drake Younger the week after, then I worked Necro Butcher the week after that, and Billy Blade's chop outlasted any of the cuts and bruises and anything from my death matches, so that tells you how much of a chop that is.
Yeah. You guys had straight purple chest training.
Yeah.
Now, I used to get chopped by, not as hard as Billy, but I used to get chopped by Ronan when I was in school, and that shit was fucking brutal. He's
like an elf or something, right?
What's that?
Is it like an elf guy, right?
Ronan, he's the guy from PWG, wears all the red. He's like the big Power Ranger dude. I don't want to drop his real name because I don't even fucking remember it. But I think it was like Johnny or Nick, or it was Johnny or Nick or something. I forgot what it was. But anyway, this boy used to fucking chop. I don't think he was trying to teach me. I just think he didn't like me. I think that was it. But man, I remember purple chest training, dude. It's like fucking chop. It's
so
chop
we got
week.
Dragon Gate. We got Gold Rush. Me and Sledge, my tag team partner, Creep Show, and Jekyll's versus AJ Kirsch from Tough Enough and two other guys. Then we got Dragon Gate USA, Vendetta Pro, iPay-per-view. Creep Show versus Parental Discretion, hardcore match. They have a mystery partner. I don't care who it is. It doesn't really matter,
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's going to be thumbtacks. There's going to be barbed wire. There's going to be chairs. There's going to be a street fight, It's not going to be a death match, but it's going to be crazy enough to... I guarantee it would get over to all you guys. If you watched it, you'd be like, "Damn, that was awesome!" It's going to be crazy. So,
as long as there's blood, that catches my interest.
Dude, there will be blood. You can guarantee there will be blood.
The blood gets me there. The good match keeps me there.
Yeah, we're the main event of the Vendetta half of the Dragon Gate and Vendetta pay-per-view. So.
Okay,
it's going to be legit. So then I got February 2nd. Simi Valley, MPW. Don't know what the match is yet, but that's the next thing. March 2nd, Santa Maria, Vendetta Pro at the Santa Maria Fairgrounds. April 15th, Las Vegas, Cauliflower Alley Club, official show. We're going to do our once a year, Vendetta Pro does our Casino Royale.
You're going to do a death match at the Cauliflower
No,
Alley
they're
Club,
not
are
gonna let
you?
me do a death match.
No.
I'll be in the Battle Royal and a tag match or something, you know. And then May 18th, King City Fair. It'd be pretty cool. And then I have another tentative booking with someone that you would love to be announced, you know, that you would love to hear about, and it would be a death match, but it's not for sure yet. And then one more thing that's more important than all of this is something that's going to be happening very soon, and it is confirmed, but I'm not at the liberty to announce it yet. But it's my dark match. It's my WWE dark match. That's what I told Sledge.
Yeah.
It's like, if you got a WWE dark match, you got to support me, bro.
You're going to be wrestling fucking Tyson Kidd at NXT next week, fool.
No, fuck that.
Don't jinx it, dude. They're gonna fucking pull a contract. Don't. Yeah.
You know,
wait till the ink is dried.
I don't watch WWE, bro. Like, all I watch is BJW, CZW, WXW, and Vendetta Pro.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I barely have time for wrestling that I fucking like. I used to have to watch Raw for this show because when we first started the show, Dante was doing just a straight up wrestling recap show, and he would go over all the results. And like if I didn't watch Raw, I would sit there and I would just fuck around with my phone for the whole show. And then as soon as, just stick my head up and tell fucked up stories when Dante's done. That's like this year is probably the most WWE I've ever fucking seen in a while. Yeah. Other than, I still make it a point to pirate. I pirate pay-per-views and I fucking watch half of it. But I'd still leave it streaming just so I can steal all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway. So when, like, in Vegas, like, is there still? When I lived up in Vegas, there was no indie wrestling. Now I keep hearing about all these fucking shows in Vegas.
We did a show with Adrenaline Unleashed, which is another.
I remember
another
them.
company there. I'll put him over. He's my friend. I talked to him. He's the only person I remember. Skankin' Tater Downey, STD, little punk rock guy.
Skankin' Tater Downing.
Yeah, he's like 100 pounds. He's a little punk rock guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put him over. That's the only person I remember.
So it's pretty much just Adrenaline running out there, or because I remember, do they
There's
still have that?
FSW too, I think.
What was that one?
FSW, Future Stars Wrestling.
Future Stars Wrestling.
Yeah.
There's all it's all in Vegas. It's all big shows though, huh? It's all like in the casinos, or there's no Boys and Girls Club fucking indie wrestling out there anymore.
They're running it like, I think we come and do the big show, but I think they do big shows too. But I think they have like their student shows and their little arena shows and all that kind of stuff.
Does Adrenaline still have that tiny 6-sided ring?
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Oh man, I hate. I saw them
a couple years ago when I worked there when we did that was okay. So like, me being green in the business is still, when I first started, I did student shows, I did a couple of Vendetta Pro big shows, I do the Battle Royal. I come out in that stupid 6-sided ring, and I get eliminated by Raven. I'm beating the shit out of people, I turn around, there's Raven, he looks at me, he punches me, he's really soft, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Punches me, I don't sell it because I don't feel it. And then, like an idiot, sell green. And then he throws me out. I get eliminated, and that leads to the next death match after me and Bo.
Yeah, so I know you worked Raven earlier this year. How does that being a guy who works stiff? And I know I used to work stiff. There's I rarely ever hold anything back. How do you go from having a hard hitting match with Bo Cooper to working with a veteran like Raven, who, like you said, likes to work very light? How do you go about that?
I got a lot of respect for Raven. I appreciate everything he did to me, except for when he put his penis on my tag team partner's shoulder. That's another story.
Wait, we're talking backstage, or where you need to
We're
elaborate?
talking in the hotel room.
Okay.
Go back to the hotel room. Well, let's lead way to there.
Yeah, you need to elaborate more on that.
Yeah, let's
ask the first question first.
Let's not go there right away. Main event, Vendetta Pro, and Tascadero. Well, I talked to Raven. I'm like, hey, how's it going? He does a seminar before the show. I learned a lot from him, about how to wrestle, how to sell, all this, everything about wrestling. He's a really good wrestler. Got a lot of respect for him, So, of course, he's the ECW guy,
Mm-hmm.
So then we do the match. Before the match, he proceeds to tell me, we'll just call this in the ring, kid. We don't need to talk about anything, I'll tell you, don't do anything unless I tell you to do it. Just follow me and listen to me. And I say, okay, bro, whatever, you know. Then he goes to sleep.
Then he goes to sleep.
I'm not trying to bury him or anything.
No, I know.
You know, that's legit what happened. That's my story, you know.
So he not a finish, not a beginning, nothing. Just I'll walk you through.
Okay,
I'll walk you through it, kid.
We talked about the finish, you know.
Okay.
We talked about the finish. That was it. Other than that, I went to the ring and I'm like, fuck. Got in the ring. If you watch the video, you know, compared to a lot of my other my better matches I've had, I'm not a fan of that match. I've watched it like twice, you know.
Yeah.
I can't watch it, you know. Anyways,
I mean, at this point, but I mean, like I said, not to bury Raven, but at this point, you know, like I said, he's a bit up there. Your first match was against a guy 3 times your size, and then the next match is up against a guy that you have a lot of, who's a, you know, freaking Terry Funk status almost, you know, been in the business for over 25 years.
And you know what? Looking back, if the match was to occur tomorrow, I would have went out there and stiffed the shit out of him. You know what I mean? And like, I would have been way different. You know?
Yeah.
Not disrespectful.
You just met it, but
like I would have handled it different. You know, because I have a lot more confidence now from the people I worked after it in. But we'll get into that after this. You know.
So other than with Legends, do you ever get people who want to work light? Like, how do you go about it? When someone asks you if they want to, like, hey, light, you know, that's, you know, lighten up a bit. How do you react to it? Because when I react to it by just hitting harder.
Okay, yeah, like me and my tag partner Sledge, like I'll put him over all the time at Sledge VPW on Twitter. We like to work stiff, like when we're doing tag matches and stuff. Like we tell people, you know, you hit us hard, and when I say stiff, I don't mean punching each other in the nose, in the eye, in the throat. I mean when I give you a back club, you're gonna know that I gave you that back club for a couple days, you know. Yeah. Or a chop, you know, or a forearm, you know. So to get back, let's get back to the Raven thing.
Okay.
So we go out there, and I have no idea what the hell is going on. No idea whatsoever. Mm-hmm. We lock up, tease the barbed wire again. He just throws me out of the ring. You're going out, kid. Woo! I go out of the ring, you know. He beats the shit out of me, proceeds to beat the shit out of me around the entire arena, doing nothing at all but still, like, being over, you know. Mm-hmm. And then we basically told me, you know, don't do anything until I tell you to do it.
Yeah.
And then
he's walking you through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not saying anything also. Like, when I hear that, you know, from another veteran, you know, like Drake, for instance, or anyone, they tell me something, you know. Don't do anything unless I tell you, oh, hey, take this, you know. Okay, I'm going to take this, you know. Instead, he puts me in a side headlock and walks me around the building for 15 minutes.
Did you do stand up?
Yeah, and then the finish that I went through like cactuses and thumbtacks and barbed wire and mouse traps and all this stuff. Like the finish was cool, you know. Yeah, people remember that. That's all they remember. I took a tack bat to the head a couple times, all this kind of stuff. But
did you get the? That was your first tack bat. It was a wiffle ball bat, right?
Yeah. So you can swing it hard, you know.
Did you get the army or the metal mohawk?
No. The next one, the metal mohawk I got, like that was a whole mohawk of thumbtacks was from Drake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Drake knows how to I always hate it when I've been guilty of it too. I don't know, it's just sometimes it just doesn't work. Maybe if the glue, if the tape is too, sticky or too adhesive, but sometimes you'll take one tack bat spot right to the fucking head, especially if you're bald.
Bro. It's the angle of the dangle.
Yeah, I think you just have
the heat of the meat.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the way they swing it. It could be light.
It's the bounce from it's the bounce from the wiffle ball. Like you said, you don't even. It just needs to make that smack like a chop. A chop doesn't need to be hard. It just needs to hit right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? Like learning how to swing it or whatever. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, consider yourself lucky that it didn't work the first time, because it works you into it. Because the first time I ever did it, it fucking worked perfect. It sucked. It took me like 20 minutes. It was at Gathering. Were you at Gathering 07, Kevin? Not Kevin. Nick. Why'd I call you Kevin?
No,
Jesus.
I only went to Gathering 05 and 06.
It took me fucking 20 minutes to pull all those motherfuckers out of my head.
Damn.
And Marcy was helping too. Like, they were in there.
That leads ways to the next match. Next match. Like these are like there's been other matches between these, like hardcore matches and things like that, but like none that I would put over or be proud of. Or like even the Raven one I won't be proud of, but I'll still put it over because I got to work Raven.
Yeah.
The next match that I'm proud of would be Drake Younger.
Yes.
CCW.
And that was the first match I think I watched. I don't think I watched all of it, but I saw the gist of it, and yeah, I could tell that's what you wanted to be doing. And Drake's the perfect fucking guy to work that because he's one of like 6 guys who get it when it comes to death matches.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing for me. Like when I started doing death matches, or even wanted to, I like Drake Younger, J.C. Bailey, guys like that can do the shit and do moves too. You know, build up a psychology. I don't like fat guys swinging shit into each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's what everyone talks shit about death matches for. I want to do death matches that build up, have a big, a final ending, false finishes, all the stuff that you learn about when you're doing regular wrestling.
Yeah.
But with gimmicks. And that makes it way better.
And I will say one of the first matches ever that really captured that style was Epic, Nick Mondo versus Messiah. Go back. It's like a
I've never seen it, bro. I've never seen Epic at all.
Go back.
I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
This was from 2002. This was before Tournament of Death 1. I think it was before Messiah got attacked too. I think it was right before he got attacked.
Really?
And I swear to God, it's and excuse me. Gary was telling me about it. He's like, that's really what it should be like. You start, you show everybody that you know how to wrestle. 10, 15 minutes. See if you can keep them fucking salivating just from wrestling. And then build it and you get a chair. And then you slowly progress. You get a chair to a ladder. Yeah. And then you get a table. And then it builds up to fucking,
I'm with you, bro, but, I think you need to get that chair a lot sooner than 15 minutes. I mean...
You know what I'm saying. Not 15 minutes, but, enough time to wow them with, your ability first and get the crowd behind it.
Me and Drake, that match, if you watch that match and you're a Vendetta fan... A lot of the people in the crowd didn't know who Drake was because they're not in a smart mark crowd. It's like a WWE crowd. And
the same thing. It was the same thing when he was out here.
You know what I mean? But me, Drake is like one of the reasons I started wrestling. I got more respect for him than I'll say this. Besides Billy Blade, who trained me, I got more respect for Drake than anyone else in the business. Mm-hmm. He taught me a lot too. He's taught me so much, and he's done so much for me, which we'll get into later. Hopefully, maybe in the future. So that match with Drake, that's what, if I send someone a video, you're not supposed to send a hardcore video to people to get booked or whatever, but that's the video
depends on where you're trying to get. Depends on where you're trying to get booked.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So in that match, I did some shit to Drake, but I took I had him, he stapled my tongue with my bandana. He suplexed me in the bleachers, gave me the double stomp stiff as fuck. He gave me the superplex onto a trash can, super DVD through a barbed wire board.
That was my favorite. And don't breeze over that. This trash can was fucking vertical, man. This wasn't because the trash can on its side is a easy bump. That feels better than the fucking ring. But man, you took the fucking vertical one.
Let me tell you this. That spot, he called that spot to me with the trash can, told me I'm going to suplex you on the trash can upside down, and I said, okay. And I never even took him to superplex at practice. I'm scared of the top rope.
He called that. Stand up. He called that before the match or once you were up there?
He called it before the match, and I said, okay, bro, I'm down. I never even taken a superplex at practice. I can't even stand up on the top rope. I'm terrified of heights.
Yeah.
I'll take any big bump in the death match, if there's a balcony or a walkway, anything like that, I'll do it, but at practice, I can't even stand up on the top rope,
Yeah.
That shit terrifies me.
Who wants to, you can't learn you can learn a suplex, and you can learn a bump, but you can't learn a superplex at school. There's no point.
Yeah.
It's like if you know how to do a suplex and you have good balance, there's no reason to take crazy, but that's the kind of shit you learn on the fly when you're working.
Yeah, and then with the trash can, it made me feel safer. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but yeah.
It may, like I said, if it's your first superplex, you don't know what it fucking feels like. So, to me, anything breaking my fall is better than the.
Yeah, so he gave me the superplex. He gave me the super DVD through the barbed wire board. He double stomped the barbed wire board in my face, which I still have some gnarly scars from on my leg. It's weird because most of it was on my face and my chest, but on my leg, my thigh, I have these two deep ass scars, lines too, not even punctures.
Yeah. And a word of advice when it comes to death matches. There's 3 points, or no, there's 5 points that you should always be mindful of. Your thighs, your underarm, and your neck. The wrist, you can puncture your wrist and
Bro,
still
I
get
got a
it's still
sales job. Like, I make good money, like, on the shoot job, you know?
Uh-huh.
So all I care about is my face.
Yeah.
I could fucking say, I'm going to stab you in your guts with this sword, but you'll live. You know, if it was Drake, if he told me, like, I'm going to shoot you with a shotgun in your leg, but I guarantee you'll be able to walk and go to work, I would do it, dude, you know, because I trust him that much. But, like, as long as it's not to the face, I'm cool, you know.
Yeah, that's how you make your money. I mean, shit. As long as if the clothing covers it, that's all good. Man, I used to work at. I'll take you way back to 2003. I used to work at Burger King. All right, and thank God I got to wear a hat there because I used to have some of the most horrible, disgusting fucking foreheads back in 2003, 2004. And man, if shit, I've never had one. There's been I think 2 professional jobs where I showed up with fucking tape on my face. Yeah. And yeah, it's back juice is much more easier, for your fucking weekday job.
After all that shit, bro, all the Super DVD, Double Stomp, I give him the pile driver. I feel bad because it was the most unsafe pile driver ever on the barbed board. If you watch the video, it was not cool,
What made it unsafe?
I'm gassed, I'm fat, I was gassed out, Anyways, I took the Drake's Landing on the top of my head on the barbed wire board. That was a finish, and it was awesome. He put me over on the mic, you realize, like, oh, shit, like, JD's, like, down to do anything and everything, if he tells me I'm going to fucking cut his arm off and it'll be reattached, then I'll cut his arm off, Whatever it is, I'm down to take it,
All right.
So, after that, me and Drake became good friends, Like, before that, we did a little bit, but after that, me and him were tight,
So you mean to tell me if I book an amputee match right now, which is a ladder match rules, with a hacksaw at the top of the, above the ladder, and the only way to win is to saw off an appendage, you'll do it?
If it's with Drake, I would.
If the money's right. If it's with Drake, okay. If I could,
Drake, I would, even if the money was wrong.
If the money was wrong,
I trust him that much with my body. Like, I would do it.
You will do the loaded 9mm match.
I would never think at practice. I would be scared to do, and he did them to me, and I'm okay with it. Because everything was fine. I got up the next day. I was sore, but a week later, I flew to Colorado and I wrestled a necker butcher. So I was okay enough to do that, right? So I'm okay,
How did that one turn out?
Not in my favor so much.
I heard Necro's been lightening up lately. Is that true?
Well, no, his chops are like I told Billy, like when I came back, I said, dude, I don't got any marks, so you can't check me, but that shit hurts, bro. Because Billy will chop you, and you'll have a blood stain on your chest for weeks. But Necro will chop you, and you'll feel that shit to the core of your bones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's different types of chops. There's the capillary busting ones, and then there's like the collarbone.
Yeah, he chopped me all the way up to his elbow. It was like from the tip of his finger to his elbow. Wham!
There's ones that you feel like in the back of your pectoral, like a week later.
I felt it, through my ears, like through my eardrums. Like
you get breast lumps.
Like if you grab like a metal pole and you hit another metal pole, how your hands like reverberate.
Yeah.
That's the way my whole body felt when he shot me. It's like that kind of gimmick,
Jeez. Well, I guess I heard wrong. Necro's still stiff as hell.
So I wrestled Necro and this guy called Brokeback Billy, who you guys might not know of, but
let me guess, fag
look
gimmick.
him up. Brokeback Billy. He's a fucking gay clown rainbow gimmick, but he's fucking awesome.
This one sounds really expensive and gay.
He bled buckets, dude.
Really?
Buckets. Like, he did one of the most gory blade jobs, kayfabe, like, he got fucked up so bad to the point that he was bleeding so much where he wears a mask. He had to take off his mask because he was drowning in his own blood. That's how hardcore Brokeback Billy is. So if I could pick anyone in the world, if it was Zandig or Nick Gage or anyone, well, I'm going back to Primos for Slave to the Deathmatch 4 next year, and I want Brokeback Billy. That's who I want. One-on-one. That motherfucker is crazy.
So what was that event called? The one in Colorado again? Slave to the Deathmatch?
Slave to the Deathmatch, yeah.
It's a tournament or what?
The first Slave to the Deathmatch, Man Pondo won. The second Slave to the Deathmatch, Man Pondo won again. Man Pondo won. Yeah, I can't say it right.
Hey, he never wins.
Too many, repeating. Anyways.
He never wins his own tournament, so he's got to go, if you want me to come out to Denver, you got to put me over.
Well, anyways, the third time, Necro won. The guy who beat me. Necro Butcher beat me. He won the tournament. So I don't feel bad, you know.
How come I've never heard of Slave of the Deathmatch?
Dude,
Mike?
this shit is awesome, bro.
I never saw it.
Their workers out there are fucking, like, ROH caliber. There's a guy named Jason, Chris Rath. They had a match, TLC.
What's the name of the company?
Primo's Hardcore and
Primo's
Wrestling. Look it
Hardcore.
up. I'll put them over forever, you know. I went out there, I worked, you know, they liked me and shit, but they were awesome, you know. I was like, wow, you guys are fucking pretty good, you know. Great death matches with psychology. There was no bad match. There was no bullshit like fat guys swinging shit or anything like that.
It wasn't Carnage
like
Cup.
An ROH match with gimmicks. So look at him up. Primo's Hardcore and Wrestling.
Yeah,
Joe McDougal, Joey Terrifying.
I definitely need another deathmatch tournament in the summer because I think we didn't get a King of the Death this year, did we?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Drake won the last one that I saw.
Yeah, that one was fucking dope. That was
Yeah,
like
it was
very
good. You can give that
was very
DVD to Neil Cutter or whatever through the spikes. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was very Mid-South. Honestly, most of those tournaments are just, you know, Bull Payne and Mean Mitch Page, but that one was pretty dope. What was that one guy, J.C. Bailey's homie, Simon Says? He had that cut right under his neck. So that's what I'm talking about. Those are the scary deathmatch cuts. That was bad. That guy looked like he had a slashed throat through the whole fucking tournament.
Well, okay, like we only got a couple minutes, right?
No, we got to go to break. He's giving me the sign. So let's get on any other plugs before we get out of here.
Okay, like am I done? Okay, then what I'm saying, if I'm done, is that the next guy, which is not as famous as Drake or Necro or Raven, is BC Killer.
Mm-hmm.
Legion Champion Wrestling, LCW in LA. Me and BC Killer went all out, kill each other. You know, he's like, I got a worse scar from him than I have from any of those other guys. My scars on my leg from Drake are pretty bad, but like my scars on my back from him, I don't know what it was, but I got some holes. It looks like a shotgun.
Yeah. Next time you're in LCW, definitely want to work Mars Olson or Bobby Hollywood. But before we go to break, how was your first LA experience? That freaking LCW seriously feels. There's something about that place that's just it has more of a not just an indie feel, but more of a crazy
it's almost
lucha.
Like ECW when you go there.
It's like Mexican ECW.
Yeah, Mexican ECW.
Yeah.
But Angel from XPW, the booker, he used me. He believed in me. Supposedly, maybe in February I'll be back. I don't know. Question mark.
Well, I hope so. And definitely, did Bobby Hollywood get involved in your match at all? Because I know he's.
Well, I gave him my finisher and a light tube.
That's good.
Yeah, I won't go into the rest of what happened after I gave him that. But
son of a bitch was supposed to be. Hey, he's the co-host on this show, and I would like to know that he at least took a few fucking spots this weekend. But anyway, we're gonna go to break. JD Horror. Anything else you want to plug before we go to break?
I think I'm good, bro. Like, I'm grateful for my opportunities I've got so far. I'm thankful for, Billy, Bo Cooper, Sledge, my tag team partner, Drake, Necro, Joe McDougal, Angel, all these guys,
And yes, and DJ, if you're listening, we know you're a friend of the show. If you're listening,
and DJ.
you need to call this guy up because we need to get this guy out on the East Coast. But anyway, JD, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'd love to have you on in the future. Vendetta Pro Wrestling, you can check them out. Dragon Gate USA, going to be doing a headlining show. Tape delayed, but you can still get it on probably WWN.com. Yada yada.
Yes, and the last thing that I would say, if I could say one more thing, is that there's a major announcement coming within the next few weeks. So if you guys follow me on Twitter at JDHorrorHC, as in hardcore, or Facebook.com/JDH138. New announcing something that's the biggest step in my career so far. So,
all right. Well, we'd love to hear you after you make the announcement. But thank you so much for coming on the show, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Dontaymania. We're going to take a quick break and pay some bills, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Peace.
listening to chaoticradio.com.